Hey, Mike.
Hello.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Started to get some guys back today, Land and Cooks, and also Nealon. What were you able to tell from what they were able to do?
Well, we were in a walkthrough, so they were able to participate in that. So it was great to have them back out there.
And the other side of that is, now that you've done some more tests on Zach Martin, do you have a better feel for kind of what he's dealing with?
He was in the rehab group today, so I mean it's a long week, but he's got a couple things he's dealing with.
Clarence Hill, City, Dallas. You know, working with Dan Quinn the last 3 years, what can you learn from him to take from this game, and what can he learn from you? Can you talk about the chess match of going against a guy that worked under you?
Well, I think the big thing with Dan is what he stands for. As a coach, in big picture, the culture that I'm sure he's created there. But schematically and just the way they play, that's what we've really been studying the last 2 weeks. You see a lot of similarities schematically to Dan's time here. I think Joe Witt's done a really good job of putting his variation onto it, and how he's calling it is a little different than the way naturally, which is normal, different than the way Dan called it. Definitely fits Joe's personality. Joe and I were together 12 years, so I think it's when I watch them play. I definitely see Joe's influence on how he likes to play the game. Offensively, I think Dan going with Cliff was an excellent choice, because Cliff does a great job schematically challenging you. Their teams play the right way, so it's a team that's playing really good football. They're doing a good job taking care of the ball, taking it away, things like that. So they're having a good year.
Elaborate on what Joe does different from Dan that you see on film that you know from the past.
You're going to have to watch the game, Clarence.
Not what you're going to do, this is what they do. I'm just saying.
Hey, maybe for the first time in my time here in the history of my tenure, that we'll just try to keep it under wraps for one day. So.
Jerry's on the radio tomorrow.
Okay, 12 hours. So.
I'm Mike Todd Archer with ESPN. When you have these short weeks, condensed couple weeks here, when you get to the walkthrough process, is it as involved as a normal walkthrough that you guys have, like what we see in training camp and things, or is it more things that you do?
I'd say it's similar to training camp on, I would think, the way you would view it. I'll say this, the walkthroughs, not just in my time here, and I think, frankly, since the pandemic, probably even started before that with the CBA changes, the intensity, the specificness, the detail in the walkthroughs have greatly improved. Now I'm talking, from years and years ago, because you have to walk through so much more in today's game, 17-game season. Being a team that plays on Thanksgiving every year, so you get this stretch of 3 games and in a short period of time. So all those things apply. So and the point I'm trying to make is I think our guys do a really good job of really locking into the details of the walkthroughs. It's not a stepping point and I got that guy, type deal. It's there's footwork being coached. There's specifics of the motion landmarks. The reaction. I think our look teams, especially the group that we have, with our coaches, on our offense first, that look team defense. So the involvement and the intensity of it has been really good. So I actually feel very confident when we have to go through a practice like this. Now it took me, it was new for me to be in this mode every year. Playing, because first couple of years we had the Thursday too. So, but to being in this format has really helped us, and I think it really helps you take care of the health of your football team for the longevity of the season. And we've been able to carry that over into our training camp training, and I think it's helped us improve in that space too, because of the 12-hour rule, the 11-hour rule that you have in training camp. So, walkthroughs are critical, and in the involvement, how you do them. The number of reps that you do, and so you have to, it's a big part of how we train.
We talked to Brandon Cooks today, and he said he wants to see guys more joyful through the process, and hopes his return can kind of help with that a little bit. What is it about his personality or makeup do you think that brings that energy?
Well, I mean, it's you know, it comes to him very natural. I mean, Brandon brings a lot of joy to whatever space he's in. He just has that type of magnetic personality. He's a joy to work with. He loves the process. The thing that I've always enjoyed about Brandon is the number of different experiences that he's had, the number of places he's worked, and how open he is. And you talk about a man that pays it forward, both personally and professionally. He's an incredible example of that. So, but yes, it's great to have him. I mean, he's been here, but to have him out on the field today, I mean, you definitely feel his presence.
John Machado with The Athletic. Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong left here, go there. You guys obviously thought that, you know, Nealon and Sam Williams would replace them in those two spots, but how tough has it been to really replace what you lost without those two guys?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at it that way. I mean, you know, those guys went with an opportunity, you know, that they felt they needed to do, and everybody's situation is different. I mean, I'm proud of those guys. They're playing very well. Dante's, you know, off the charts. DA is so damn consistent, you know, in the way he's played. So yeah, I mean, just the video I've seen of him, so I've been very impressed. But that's how this game works. You know, the financial component, it changes your team every year. I mean, that's why this is always such a challenge. It, you know, changes the dynamic. But you know, I'm happy that they got a great opportunity, and I hope they play like shit Sunday. So.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. I'm sure it's been a frustrating process for Deron Bland, but how have you kind of seen him go through the process, and how important will it be getting him back on the field?
Yeah, Deron, I mean, I think he's, you know, gosh, you know, we miss him, number one, you know, and it'd be great to get him back out there. But this has been a tough return to play for him. So just hopeful that he can cross that threshold, and today was a big day to have him out there. But yeah, he's, you know, every injury is different, and you know, and he, you know, and he's the type that, you know, he's going to do whatever he can to get out there. So, you know, I'm just hopefully he can complete the process.
And on the broadcast from Sunday, we saw Dak up in the booth. How has he been able to kind of help in games?
You know, the biggest thing with Dak is just really having him there for support, and he's, you know, he sees things just like, you know, all quarterbacks, and especially you look at the wealth of knowledge that he has through experience. It's great to have another set of eyes up there. You know, you want him to always be involved. You know, in my view, he's still the face of the locker room. You know, and it's a commitment that he takes a lot of pride in, and you know, he still goes to the meetings. He's starting his rehab process on a limited basis that he can. So I mean, he was here today, so he's still putting in the time.
Tom? Mike, yesterday John was pretty down when I asked about Marquise Bell. Is there any update about his status?
Yes, you know, he's going to have surgery, you know, in the near future. So, just, you know, you talk about a young man that's been just so consistent, has done whatever we ask him to do, to go play linebacker last year for as much as he did. I think speaks volumes, but he's just, you know, he's been one of John's core guys, you know, just since the day he arrived here. So, you know, we'll definitely miss him this year.
Josh.
Mike, Josh Tolentino, Lone Star Live. CD popped up today with a foot. Did he sustain that during the game? And also, is there any concern over it?
Yes, but he practiced today. So, but I think he'll be okay. Yeah.
And then just to follow up to the last question, with John's response being up here, just I guess could you list like a couple traits of just like how he's able to connect with players? Because that felt like a pretty rare moment for him to kind of reflect on what Marquise.
Oh yeah, I mean, John Fossil's an outstanding human being. Number one, he lives it. He grew up in this profession, so he knows, on a personal level, from every angle. You look at the experience of his father, who's an outstanding coach in this league, and in all the different generations of players that he's been exposed to. So John does a great job connecting, and and like I said, Marquise has been one of his key guys since the day he arrived here. I mean, that young man has played a lot of hard-nosed, tough football for us, and obviously it's very important to John.
Clarence.
Getting back to Washington, D.C. for a minute, you had him in Green Bay. I know it's a competitive thing. Do you feel good about the success he's had, and can you talk about, was there any consideration of having Joe Witt, having him as a DC here?
Yeah, I'll say this about Joe. I think Joe's an outstanding football coach. I'm proud of him. I am looking forward to competing against him. I think, like all of us in this league, you look forward to these opportunities. But this is long overdue for Joe. Joe's been ready for quite some time. I know there's been times in our time together in Green Bay and even here where he was that guy. And regardless of how things happen, and he's doing a great job with his opportunity. And I think, like all of us, sometimes you have to, most of the time, frankly, you have to wait longer than you probably feel like you need to do. And I just know, my personal experience, that, when I look back, I thought I was ready for things that now I sit here now as a head coach that I really probably wasn't. But he's been ready for this opportunity for quite some time. And I think it clearly shows with the way, his defense is playing in year one. So, and like I said, I think, like all of us, we're looking forward to competing against one another. But, I'm very happy for Joe. He's earned this. He's gone about it the right way for a long time. He's been an excellent coach in this league. I'm going to say I hired him back in, was that 2009, through 2008. So, and I think you're seeing the fruits of that path that he's taken. It's definitely showing.
We talked about Dak for a little bit, and being up in the booth. Will he go on road trips, or is that just too hard for him to get around?
No, that's a good question. I don't know that, for example. I would think so, but I'm not sure about the travel, with the surgery and how close to the surgery. That's a good question.
That it? All right.
Good.
Thank you, Mike.
All right.
He's got to run.